Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello guys, welcome to Ekeeda. Today we will see maximum power transfer theorem and how to use it with dependent sources. In lower semesters we have used it with independent sources. So let us see the problem now. You can see here that we have been provided with a circuit. It's a bigger circuit, it's a complicated circuit, and we are supposed to find what is the maximum power delivered to this variable resistance. This sign, this arrow means variable resistance, RL, that is load resistance. So we have to find what is the maximum power that can be delivered to this load resistance. And we know the condition for maximum power transfer theorem, that input resistance should be equal to load resistance. So we know that if RL is equal to RTH, that is Thevenin's equivalent resistance, which we get after we convert this entire circuit into Thevenin's equivalent circuit. So we will see this at that time. But this is the condition which we should know. Now how to solve problems for maximum power transfer theorem is exactly same the way we solve problems for Thevenin's and Norton's theorem. What we did in the first step, we got VTH, that is Thevenin's equivalent voltage. In the second step, we got Norton's current. Then we got in the third step RTH, that is Thevenin's equivalent resistance. And then we calculated the current which was required in certain resistance. Now after applying all those steps, we will come across this RL and we will use this condition and we will find the maximum power by using the formula. So let us start with step number 1. Here I have drawn this circuit for calculation of VTH. And we know that for calculation of VTH, we treat this as open circuit, that is terminals A and B. And when we do that, you can see this Ix current is directly 0. So first note that we will write is Ix equal to 0. Now second thing is this current which is given in this second loop is 3 times Ix. So first we can give names to these currents. So we'll give names. Let us say that I1, I2, and you can call this as I4, but it is equal to 0. So from here I can understand that I2 is 3 times Ix. And as Ix is equal to 0 ampere, I can again write I2 also equal to 0 ampere. So I2 is 0 already we got. So now our job is to find only I1 and I3. Because if you know the current through this circuit, between these terminals A and B, there is a VTH, that is equivalent Thevenin's voltage source, which we are going to use. So we will solve this by using mesh analysis, and then we will calculate the values of I1 and I3. So let us apply KVL to this loop number 1. So by KVL to this loop number 1, you can see that this is 3 ohm, then plus to minus will be minus. Then here, this Vx is, we can say it is 2 times I1. Vx is a voltage which is across this 2 ohm resistor. And because this current is I1, we have to write this note that Vx is 2 times I1. Because this is positive sign, I'll write plus 2 into I1. So these are the set of values which we already know. So let us apply KVL now. So this is what we get equation. Now we'll rearrange it. So we got I1 equal to 0.33 ampere. Similarly, we will get I3. So by KVL to loop number 3, we get, here if I apply KVL, minus 9 into I3. But when we come here, this is going to be minus 8 into I3. No current here, so we cannot subtract any current called as I4 and so on. But when we come here, this is going to be minus 8 into I3 only, because there is no current I4. There is no need to subtract it. Then plus 2 minus it will become minus 2 into Vx and so on. But let us write the equation. but we know the value of Vx is 2 times I1. And now we can substitute the value of I1. And the value of I1 is 0.33 ampere. And we can now calculate I3. So we have got I3 equal to minus 0.0776 amperes. And now our job is to apply KVL or this analysis to the final loop, which is having VTH. Here what I have done, I have just put a voltage source, which is called as VTH. Of course, it is an open circuit, but we have to find voltage across terminals A and B, which is called as VTH. So I have taken the polarity like plus and minus. So if I apply KVL in this direction, I'll get plus 2 into Vx, then minus 8 into I3. Then here I will get no voltage because there is no current here. And here I will get voltage source which will be negative because it is plus to minus. And then again minus VTH. So let us apply KVL. What we can do, we can call this current as I4, but knowing that I4 is 0. The reason I am calling this current as I4 as because we have this resistor. When we go along this loop, I will have minus 8 into I4 minus I3. And then that minus minus will become plus. So to avoid any mistake, we will take this as I4, but we should know that I4 is 0. So this is the equation which I get. I will now substitute the value of Vx. Vx is 2 times I1. I4 is 0. So it's going to be 0 minus I3. And I3 value I know, it is minus 0.0776. Now I will solve it. So the value of VTH that I got is minus 6.3008 volts. So this is about step number 1. Now we'll go for step number 2. That is calculation of IN, that is Norton's current. For this, we need to short the branch which we just opened. So we'll go back to the original circuit. This is my original circuit. This is the branch AB which I will short now, and I will redraw the circuit. So this is the original circuit, and I have converted it, this branch AB which I have shorted, and so converted it for the Norton's current. Now to get this IN, which is passing from A to B, IN is exactly equal to IX. I can call this as I4, but I should know that IX will be substituted here. And this Vx value is again 2 into current passing through that resistor. So I need to give names to the loop currents. So I call I1. So I given 4 names, I1, I2, I3 and I4. I should know that I4 is equal to Ix is equal to In, then I must know that this Vx is 2 times I1 and this Ix, which I can substitute as I2 is equal to 3 times Ix. So by knowing these equations, I should be able to get all the currents I1, I2, I3 and I4 because I will have 4 equations and 4 unknowns. So let us solve them. Let us apply KVL to loop 1, loop 2, loop 3 and loop 4 successively. So when I apply KVL to loop 1, it is going to be minus 3 into I1 plus, it is because plus minus it will be minus 2 volt. Then here it is going to be plus Vx, which is 2 into I1. Oh, it is plus to minus, so it is going to be minus Vx. And then here minus 4 into I1 minus I2. And again plus 5. So we'll write the equation. Oh, this is the equation I have got. Now I will write it in proper manner. So I'm calling this as equation number 1. In this equation, I can do one change. This I2, we know that it is 3 times of given current. You can see here, this I2 is 3 times of Ix, which we have written here, 3 times of Ix, which is 3 times of I4. So we can substitute and we can reduce one parameter. So what we will get is, I will solve it again. I will call this as equation number 2. Now we are done with loop 1 because we are not writing value of I2 because we know that I2 is 3 times I4. There is no need to apply KVL to this loop because we know that whenever we will get I2, we will convert it to I4. So now directly we will apply KVL to loop number 3. That means this loop. So when I apply KVL to this loop, what I will get is minus 9 into I3 minus I2. Here again I can convert this I2 to I4. So there is no need to apply KVL because we know that I2 is 3 times Ix is I4. And then here I will get minus 8 into I3 minus I4 and then minus 2 into Vx, and Vx is 2 times I1. So I can easily apply KVL to this third loop. Now I will write the equation for the same. Now we can replace this Vx with 2 times I1. And now we will rearrange the equation. Now instead of I2, I am going to write I4. As we know that in this circuit I2 is 3 times I4. So this I2 will be now 3 times I4. So this is the second equation that we have got, or we can call it as third. I'm calling it as third because we already given second to some other equation. This is our second equation which we have modified from equation number 1. So this is second equation and this is now our third equation, and now we will apply KVL to the final loop. So by applying KVL to loop number 4, what we get, you can see here, if we start from this voltage source, it will be plus 2 Vx, then minus 8 into I4 minus I3, then minus 6 into I4 minus 7 volt equal to 0. Now we'll again rearrange this equation. Also we know that Vx is 2 times I1. So you received this equation number 4 as 4I1, then plus 8I3, and minus 8 minus 6 is minus 14 I4 equal to 7, because this minus 7 goes here, becomes positive. So we have equation 4, equation 3, as well as equation number 2. And now we will solve these equations by using calci, and directly we'll get answers for I1, I3 and I4. So the answers that we get are so these are the three answers which we got I1, I3 and I4 because this is our equations were. So I1, I3, I4 and I1, I3, I4. And we are interested in I4 because I4 is Norton's current. So we have got Norton's current equal to 1.189. So our step number 2 is done. That is calculation of IN, and IN is equal to I4. Now we are heading for step number 3. That is calculation of RTH, and it is easy. RTH, resistance, is voltage upon current. So we'll substitute the respective values. So VTH is minus 6.3008 and IN is just what we got. Again, we'll get answer by calci. So it is minus 5.3 ohm. And now after this RTH, we need to get maximum power transferred to RL. So what we'll do, first we'll draw Thevenin's equivalent circuit. So this VTH is and RTH is minus 5.3. So this is Thevenin's equivalent circuit across terminals A and B, and across these terminals A and B we have this RL, that is load resistance, and this RL is variable because of this sign. And now the condition for maximum power transfer is this RTH should be equal to RL, and there is a small derivation by which we can say that we can deduce this formula that P max, that is maximum power transferred, is equal to VTH square upon 4 times RTH. We know what is RTH, and so VTH square is going to be minus 6.3008 square, and RTH is negative, that is minus 5.3. Let's calculate this. Answer comes out to be minus 1.87 watts. So maximum power transferred is minus 1.87 watts is what is required answer. It is negative because VTH that we got is negative, and because of that this RTH also is what we got negative. So this is the power which can be transferred maximally when we apply this maximum power transfer theorem. So this is all about this problem, and that is the end of this problem because this is what that was required. So thank you very much guys for watching this video. Stay tuned to Ekeeda and please subscribe to Ekeeda. Thank you.